So what is business strategy and why is it important? Why does anybody spend, or why do companies spend as much time and money on strategy and strategy planning as they do? Well, first, let me define business strategy. This is a different definition of strategy than the traditional. Strategy is the study of leverage and advantage in competitive zero-sum games. Why do we need a different definition? Why did I go through all the effort of changing the standard definition of business strategy? Well, because traditional sort of legacy business strategy had one major shortcoming that's been revealed over the last 25 years, and that is the way it looks at technology. Technology is coming in waves. Strategy, especially legacy strategy, looked at technology as a one-time cost. It looked at transformation as a one-time cost. But that's not the case anymore. Technology is iterative. It's coming in waves. And data science and machine learning, that's the focus right now. But we've moved on from your SaaS to your cloud to your digital transformation to your it's just wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. And so the important piece about strategy, and the reason why we have to redefine strategy, is because you have to look at it from the perspective of levers, which create competitive advantages. And the major lever that we have seen developing comes from technology. Data science and machine learning is a new lever, which is creating new business models, new operating models, but it's enabling new levers, which companies can use to enter new marketplaces, to gain dominance in their own marketplace, to steal customers away because their products are cooler or they provide features nobody else can. They have an operating model that's so efficient because it leverages intelligent automation, which runs on data science. And so they are able to offer a higher level of service or lower priced goods. There are so many levers that technology creates, and those levers can be used for competitive advantage to dominate this zero-sum game. So the importance of strategy planning, the reason why companies spend so much money on strategy is because if you don't look at all the potential levers, you miss opportunities. If you don't look at the way your competitors could be using a lever to put you out of business, to suddenly show up from another marketplace and compete in yours, take your customers away from you, you're going to go out of business. Not having strategy just isn't an option because the business marketplace is complex. And it's too complex to just run on autopilot as a business. And that's why we have business strategy. That's why we define business strategy. That's why we do strategy planning. Companies need to evaluate all of these opportunities in front of them. Why does the business do what it does right now? Why? Why does it pursue these opportunities? Why doesn't it do something else? It could. And this is the interesting transition that happens when strategy and strategy planning gets introduced in a business, is the business realizes it could be doing other things. And so that creates a necessity to justify what it's doing right now. Why does the business do things this way? Why does it pursue the opportunities it does, produce the products it does, go after the customers it does, use the levers it does? Why? And strategy allows the business to evaluate the marketplace, its place in the marketplace, and how it performs. Strategy is the connection to being able to do these types of evaluations. Without strategy, you don't see the point of planning out anything other than another iteration of doing what you've always done the same way you've always done it. It's very difficult to create a business model which will monetize technology, and not just the technology of today, but a business model built to monetize each one of the coming technology waves. It's very hard to do that without strategy. There's no concept of change. There's no evaluation process. You don't look at the company's strengths and its weaknesses. You don't look at what opportunities those strengths create and what threats those weaknesses expose. You don't do that sort of evaluation. So you can't, as a business, really understand yourself, your competitors, your customers, unless you have a strategy, which explains why. Why is it that we do what we do as a business instead of something else? If you have limited resources, which every business has, if customers have a limited amount of money to spend with you, which all customers do, why do you do this? Is there a bigger opportunity out there? Are there better levers? What are your competitors going to do to you? So that's where this new definition of business strategy comes from. It's the study of leverage and advantage in competitive zero-sum games. And we needed a new definition because without it, business doesn't understand the place of technology and how they can adapt to leverage technology to make money, to do what a business does. This is a big part of what I talk about through my strategy for data science class. And this is why it's important. If data scientists don't have any sort of connection to strategy or understanding of how strategy happens, why it's important, really hard to connect what you do, the projects that you complete, with any sort of business value. It's really hard to understand the business in the first place. Business just doesn't make sense until you look at it from a value perspective, from a strategic perspective. If all you ever do is see the tactics, the workflows, what we do, what we produce, you're missing a big, big piece of the business. You'll struggle to communicate with senior leaders, to get buy-in. There's so much behind understanding strategy. That's why I say strategy is important. Understanding business strategy is important because it allows you to connect yourself to the business in a more tangible way. Right now, so many data science teams are siloed. They don't understand how they produce value. They don't create a justification, which is AI strategy. Creating that why behind the technology. Why will the technology create value? Why should the business do these projects? Why should capabilities grow? Why should the data science team get any bigger? Should it? What opportunities are possible? And you can hear it. Machine learning and data science needs a strategy. It needs a connection back to the business. And without one, it gets really difficult to get past prototypes and basic projects because the business doesn't understand how to support you, what sort of resources you're going to need, how to get customers ready for it, how to get internal users ready for it. There's no support. So without a strong connection to the business, and strategy is really your only way to make that connection, data science is almost set up to fail. So that new definition for business strategy and why it's important.